Hey everybody, no show here at 5:30, so I wanted to get on here and just talk about our winter storm that's heading our way. Kind of tell you about some of the latest data. We've kind of tweaked the forecast, not making big changes yet. We'll talk about some of the data. It is showing a little bit of snow in some areas that we haven't really said too much was going to fall, but again, holding out, seeing if the data here this evening is continuing with that trend or not. But let me know where you're watching me from. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. I'll try to get to them as best I can through Facebook Live here on, but then I'll go through and answer them and type up a comment on your questions. So, hey everybody. Heather, I'm glad that you do. So this is where the storm system is right now. It's gathering strength there across Colorado, Kansas, Dodge City, starting to see some snow now, and now starting a little bit of snow out in the Panhandle, the Texas Panhandle. Nothing falling across Oklahoma Panhandle. So this is going to be an event that slowly gets going here this evening, and then really starts to pick up after midnight, west and northwest Oklahoma. And really, this event for Oklahoma City, so if you're watching, you're kind of wondering, can I get out and do errands here this evening, go to the evening service for church, don't want to get stuck in the snow or anything? No weather complications here across central Oklahoma, and for the most part, a good portion of the state until after midnight, okay? So just want to let you know that. I don't want you to worry that, you're going to run out of the grocery store or run out of church here later on this evening. You're going to have to deal with the ice-covered roadways. That's not going to happen. So that's where the storm is now, and temperatures here this evening, like I mentioned, mild. No weather complications. Temperatures into the 40s, even some 50s across southwest Oklahoma. But notice the winds starting to change out of the east here across Oklahoma City, now northeast, down near freezing, near Guyman. So temperatures are starting to fall there. Now, temperatures will be key with this event. I talked about this last night, and I'll talk about it again, as typically here across Oklahoma, we have all kinds of winter weather. We go from rain to freezing rain to sleet to snow. This type of event, how it's kind of stacked in the atmosphere, will go from the warm air here at the surface with rain, and then we'll quickly cool that whole column of the atmosphere. So all the way from the clouds, where it's always pretty much below freezing this time of the year, all the way down to the surface. So we're going to be transitioning from a cold rain all the way to snow. So if you're worrying about freezing rain and sleet and a big ice storm going to happen, not going to happen with this event. So knock on wood, that is some great news. Nobody wants to deal with that. And so the big question is now we're going to have moisture around. How quickly does that rain change to snow? And a lot of the data is within an hour or two of changing over that rain to snow here across Oklahoma between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. But 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning, you have precipitation falling. So the earlier that rain changes to snow, the more snow will actually accumulate. So we'll have to watch that closely in the morning. This is how it's looking here this evening. Dry, like I mentioned. Some light rain will develop across northwest Oklahoma, out in the Panhandle. That'll change to snow here by around midnight across northwest Oklahoma. I'll have Marty Logan out there here this evening, and I'll have a live look at it here at the 10 o'clock newscast. And typically here, again, we're dependent on football. We're scheduled to go on at 10:30 here this evening. If the football game goes a little late, we'll get pushed back. But he'll be live in the field here in northwest Oklahoma here for the evening show. Overnight, snow starts to accumulate northwest Oklahoma and then moves off towards the south, towards Oklahoma City by morning. And I'll have a timeline here in just a second, but I just want to give you an outline here with these graphics. Tomorrow morning, accumulating snow across central and western Oklahoma for sure. It'll be falling, and it'll fall for several hours during the morning hours. But this is a quick-moving weather system, so this is not going to be a prolonged snowstorm or winter event. tomorrow afternoon, I really think the snow really quickly tapers off. There might be some flurries, a couple snow showers, but the accumulating snow that we're really going to have to deal with the weather complications is during the morning hours. The timeline on what the rain changes to snow, I think I'm going to have to adjust this. I thought I did, but this right here, out here in the Panhandle, this will happen during the evening hours. And then as we head towards overnight here across northwest Oklahoma, and then towards sunrise here across Oklahoma City. So again, it'll be a slow progression off to the southeast through the overnight when we're all asleep. So that's how it looks right now. In case you're wondering, a lot of people here across central Oklahoma, around Oklahoma City, everybody heading to work Monday morning. I know it's Veterans Day today, and let me just stop now and thank all the veterans out there for your service. Thank you very much. But we observe Veterans Day because today is a weekend. A lot of places are observing Veterans Day for Monday, so the banks, some schools are off. But all of us that have to go to work tomorrow, it's going to be a messy morning commute. Limited visibility, and if we get heavy enough snow, even here across Oklahoma City, some bridges and overpasses, elevated surfaces will start to accumulate some snow. I think I've heard it said as the pancake effect. One snowflake over another, you start to cool down that surface real quickly, and those snowflakes are frozen. So you put a lot of frozen things together, they're not going to melt as quickly. And so you'll start to accumulate that snow even off the grassy surfaces. A lot of the snow accumulation, even here across central, west, and northwest Oklahoma, will be on grassy surfaces. But when the snow comes heavy enough, with temperatures near freezing or slightly below freezing, you get a burst of heavy snow for half an hour to an hour, it will accumulate, especially on those elevated bridges and overpasses, car tops, some of the areas of a parking lot. But the main roadways with all the traffic around should remain wet. We're not going to close down the roadways. So just be aware of that. There might be some slushy accumulation, especially when I think the heaviest snow will fall, probably around 6 a.m. to around noon. That's where the heaviest snow here across central Oklahoma will likely fall. After midnight or after lunchtime, I think we'll start to see lighter, more scattered snow, and it will kind of taper off quickly. And again, when I say central Oklahoma, I'm including El Reno, Guthrie, Edmond, Piedmont, Midwest City, Norman, Moore. I mean, just the general area around Oklahoma County. And so that's what it looks right now. Futurecast. This kind of goes, in case you're not around here across Oklahoma City in the metro, if you're out towards Taloga, Enid, Ponca City, Fort Supply, this is kind of what the latest model data is saying. And I think it does a pretty good job of where the snow will be falling. I think there's might be a little bit more of the rain mixed up here towards Woodward, Alva, and Buffalo towards 10 or 11 o'clock. I think towards midnight, I think that's when the snow really starts to take over out in the Panhandle. And then as we head towards 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you can see that surge of moisture really starts to develop. We'll go from that rain to the snow. I think it'll rain for about an hour at your location, and then we'll start to really cool down that column of the atmosphere and allow those temperatures to fall where you'll start to see the snow take over. So again, brief burst of rain for maybe an hour or two, and then you'll go to all snow. So I think Taloga, Clinton, Enid, Ponca City, northwest side of the metro, so Deer Creek, Piedmont, up towards, again, Woodward, Alva, Ponca City, that's all snow. Probably moderate to heavy snow at times towards Beaver, Buffalo, Woodward, Taloga, out towards west towards Arnett, Elk City. And then here across the metro, rain, snow mix. And then as we head towards 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, that snow takes over here across the metro. Maybe as far east as the Stroud, Stillwater, Chickasha, Hobart, probably some moderate snow up towards Taloga, Clinton, Enid, starting to maybe taper off up towards Buffalo and Woodward. By the time we get to probably mid to late morning, you'll really start to see that snow end out northwest Oklahoma and western Oklahoma. Still some steady snow here across central Oklahoma. And some of them, this is what I was talking about too. Some of the data here yesterday and today takes another surge of moisture up and develops another little core of snow from Oklahoma City, Chickasha, Henrietta, Muskogee. As the cold air takes over, this quickly changes to all snow. If that's the case, these will be pretty good snow rates. Some definitely moderate snow to heavy snow at times, if that occurs. Some data shows that it does occur, and some model says, no, you don't get that redevelopment of a heavier batch of precipitation. If it's lighter precipitation, I think it's going to have a hard time really snowing, and definitely not accumulating from Lawton to Fort Smith to the south. So even towards down towards Ada, I think you might see some snow, but I don't think it's going to be heavy enough, and it's not going to be fully snow. It might be mixed with rain. So that's why we think those heavier accumulations are going to be off towards the north. You're going to see some snow. It's just going to be a rain-snow mix. And then everything ends by tomorrow evening and a cold Tuesday morning. Places that have at least a covering of snow will fall in the teens on Tuesday morning. If you don't have any snow, you'll probably be in the 20s, but teens for people that have snow on the ground. So this is the latest thinking. I might tweak this a little bit if the evening data that comes in here 7, 8 o'clock this evening continues with that theme of more snow to the east and southeast of Oklahoma City. But right now I don't want to real quickly go by that data that came out this morning and then it disappears here this evening. We've been consistent with this this forecast for the last 48 hours, so we've been just slowly tweaking it, not big changes. But you can see the heaviest, I still think, is out here to the northwest towards Woodward and Arnett. 3 to 5, maybe an isolated 6-inch amount is definitely possible out there to the northwest. Again, some on the roads, more on the grass for everybody. And Clinton, Kingfisher, Tologa, 2 to 3. Again, this is an average. If you get a heavier burst, I wouldn't be surprised to see a 4-inch total sprinkled in there, especially up towards Tologa. Here across Oklahoma City, I'm sticking with the 1 to 2 on grassy surfaces. I think a lot of people on average end up by the afternoon see an inch, maybe an inch and a half on their grass, because some's going to melt. Again, this is not, this is including everything fallen, not what's just left on the ground after it melts away. And then, like I mentioned, some snow will fall up towards Lawton, Ada, McAllister, Fort Smith, but a lot of it, if not all of it, quickly melts away because temperatures are just slightly above freezing. So, again, I kind of wanted to give it an overview of what we're kind of thinking. Not big changes here this evening. If anything, it's just continued to trend that, yes, we're going to see snow. And I know I've posted some stats because of how rare this event is this early in November. The record snowfall for tomorrow is a trace here in Oklahoma City. It has never snowed on November 12th more than a trace. That means pretty much a couple flurries that fell, nothing measurable. The heaviest snow for this early in the season is 1.9. So we're going to come close to the all-time earliest heavy snowfall here across Oklahoma City if we did see that 2-inch snowfall. Because right now it's 1.9. And generally it doesn't snow very often here this early across Oklahoma City. But hey, we talked about it. Early start to winter, and it's going to be a winter that we're all going to say, yeah, I'm ready for the warmer air by March. So, all right, guys. So I've given you an overview. So, still so warm here in Bridge Creek. Yeah, 47 degrees. Like I mentioned, it is warm out there still. And I do have, let me see, I've talked about this and I can kind of mention it here on Facebook because I have a little bit of time. I do have road temperatures that I can show you, or not road temperatures, soil temperatures, and they've been running into the 40s. Again, the top surface will cool down with the freezing temperatures and the precipitation. And again, just like how you have like a whole bunch of ice cubes in your drink, the more ice cubes, especially if there are a lot of little ones clumped together, cools your drink down more. Here it is. And this is what's going to occur. If it snows heavy enough, that's what will happen. Well, come on, click on it. There you go. Those are 2-inch soil temps. So that's just above or below the surface of the soil that's radiating up. So yeah, the temperatures in the air might be below freezing, but that warmth is still radiating from the soil. So it's going to take a while for it to cool down, especially the top surface. But that grass is kind of elevated. It kind of elevates that snow, and so the air around it is colder than if it was just placed on the bare ground. So again, that's why grass likes to accumulate, and those elevated surfaces accumulate first. All right. Any other questions for me, you guys? Yeah, Kathy, it's going to be snowing tomorrow morning. Let me show you. So again, this is around the metro, the surrounding cities: El Reno, Yukon, Mustang, Midwest City, Moore, Norman, Guthrie, Edmond, Piedmont, Deer Creek, all across Oklahoma City. This is what the forecast is. This is what it's generally going to do. Light rain develops here for the overnight. Snow breaks out and becomes all snow between 5 and 7 a.m. If it starts quicker, obviously we could have a little bit more snow accumulations. But some of the data says we don't go all snow until about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So we have at least 2 or 3 hours of falling precipitation that we're not cashing in on the snow. Roads are generally warmer. Again, especially during the day. I talked about this when we was talking to the weather team, and David and I were talking about on Friday. It's during the day. No matter how cloudy it is, and especially if it's not really snowing heavy, there's sun radiation that's getting down to the surface, and it helps to warm that surface, especially the dark asphalt. That's why a parking lot that's really newly paved is the last to become snow covered, because the solar radiation still comes through the clouds. I mean, obviously, because we're still light during the day, and so that has a part to it. But we can overcome that if the snow's heavy enough, and that's the worry here tomorrow morning, that we could have a pretty good event for 3 or 4 hours during the morning hours, that the snow comes down pretty heavy. And just like in any event, what we call banding, and especially snow, there's bands of the forcing in the atmosphere. So you'll get like a little strip where that little area has a little bit heavier, a little bit more consistent burst of heavier snowfall. So you have these little streaks of heavier snow amounts. This map is a general look of snowfall in your area. So yes, I saw a couple questions. Could Oklahoma City get a little bit more? Yeah, of course. If it transitions to rain to snow a little bit faster, if we get that little burst of energy, that some of the data I mentioned, as that precipitation becomes heavier, maybe. But I still think a general 1 to 2 is looking pretty consistent across the good area there. But we'll likely have maybe a couple pockets that could see up to 3, especially off to the west and northwest towards Tologa, Clinton, and Kingfisher. Maybe an isolated 3 to 4. But definitely the heaviest amount in the area is up towards the northwest, towards Woodward and Arnett. So So yeah, how about that? Snow in November. Not too bad. This is what it's looking like for the impacts. Bridges and overpasses will definitely become snow covered and slick where those areas get that consistent heavier snow. Even here across the metro, it is definitely possible between about 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. I think that would probably be the best chance for really starting to stick on the roadways. I think most areas, especially the main interstates, with all the amount of traffic, it being during the day, some salt and solutions been put down on the main roads, that'll help. I think they're mainly just wet. But some of those side streets, and again, those bridges and overpasses, a little slushy and snow covered. Out to the west, out towards, Tologa and Woodward and Arnett, and those areas that we're going to see greater than 2 to 3 inches, I think you have the best chance that, yes, there will likely be some snow covered and slick roadways. And let me show you what I have here. Come on, computer. So they're in the purple, slush to snow covered for some, especially those elevated surfaces, the sidewalks, the side streets, the parking lots, where you get a lot of traffic. It generates warmth, and it helps to melt whatever snow's laid down. Again, they're in slick spots here across Oklahoma City and the entire metro. If we get a burst of snow, it'll try to at least put a little bit of slush on those elevated surfaces. But it's not gonna, if you're watching this, it's not gonna, lock down the roadways. You're still gonna be able to get to work. Just take your time. Even if the pavement's wet, it's slick. So, you need to drive with caution. The best chances of anything closed, school closures, will be out there where I have the purple, where the greater accumulation is expected, not only on the grass, but also on the pavement. Aiden, there could be definitely some school closures, especially out to the west and northwest. Here across the metro, we'll see. Again, if it's snowing heavily at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of those school districts go out and check the locations, they might cancel school just because of what it looks like at that time. But that's not my call. I do the weather. I'm not going to talk about the chances of school closures because there's a lot of factors that go into that. All right, guys. Seeing some questions. Yeah, we talk about the school closings. Again, it's hard to say right now. There's definitely a possibility there could likely be some school closures, even here across the metro, but definitely out to the west and northwest Oklahoma. I think there will definitely be some school closures out towards Woodward. So this is what we're looking at, in case you're just watching right now, trying to get an idea, is, again, rain develops here across northwest Oklahoma over the next couple of hours here across the evening hours, and then rain changes to snow from northwest to southeast. So northwest Oklahoma first, and then western Oklahoma, north central, and then eventually central Oklahoma by tomorrow morning. So again, here across central Oklahoma, no weather complications other than a little bit of light rain here after midnight until 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning at the earliest that we start to see the transition to snow. So that's what it looks like from 6 p.m. to midnight. Best chance of any snow starting to break out, and this is again 10, 11 midnight up here across northwest Oklahoma, all the way through midnight. Very low chance of any mix to the southeast, and then maybe a couple showers. I think it looks fairly dry here across Oklahoma City. And then as we head towards the overnight, again, more precipitation. The colder air becomes a little bit more entrenched, deeper. We continue with those north winds taking over. So that precipitation and those north winds bringing in the colder air will help to change over that rain to snow. So I think by 6 a.m., northwest side of the metro, Hobart, Stillwater, and points to the west and north are generally all snow falling. So any precipitation that's out there, it's going to be generally all snow. Now from Lawton to Norman, Moore, Shawnee, Stroud up to Tulsa, you'll be in that transition. You might start to see some snowflakes mix in with the rain, but I think you're generally still rain. It won't be until after 6 into the morning hours, maybe mid-morning, that you start to see that snow line get down towards Lawton, Tulsa, and Miami. I think by late morning, that's the case. It's made it all the way down here to the south. Ada, you're all rain. McAllister, Salisaw, Ardmore, Durant, Idaba, all rain. Snow starts to come to an end northwest Oklahoma and west of Clinton, Hobart, west of you in western Oklahoma by lunchtime. And then as we head towards the afternoon hours, the snow starts to come to an end here from Ponca City, Enid, Oklahoma City, here across central Oklahoma. And then the snow might be still going from McAllister to Salisaw to Tulsa and Miami, at least through mid-afternoon. By 3 or 4 o'clock, I think it might be ending for them too, or at least becoming lighter as the storm system continues to zip off towards the east. So that's how it looks right now, you guys. 1 to 2, pretty much a good bet here, especially on grassy surfaces, maybe some slush on the roadways, bridges and overpasses here across Oklahoma City. But when you get into the 2 to 3, and then especially the 3 to 5 with isolated 6-inch amounts up here to the northwest, it will definitely be snow covered and slick tomorrow morning. So there will likely be some schools, maybe some businesses closed tomorrow here across northwest Oklahoma with the north wind. Temperatures upper 20s to near 30 for afternoon highs. So temperatures really won't warm up after the snow ends. So what has fallen will likely not melt that much during the afternoon. And then we'll all refreeze. So Monday night into Tuesday morning, if there's moisture on the ground, the surface, the roadways, it'll refreeze, and we'll have some black ice and some slick conditions with temperatures in the teens and low 20s on Tuesday morning. So there you go, Josh. I didn't even see your question until I just answered it. Yeah, moisture, whatever is on the ground, melts a little bit during the afternoon on Monday. As soon as the sun sets, everything will refreeze. We will have a north wind, so that'll help to try to dry a lot of the area during the daytime and in the evening before it refreezes. But definitely, if we get more than an inch or two of snow, I think there might be enough moisture on the ground that everything refreezes, and we'll definitely have some slick spots by Tuesday morning. And yeah, Albert, I was just talking about that. There is some data, again, that it does switch the snowfall amounts, and we try to have a little bit more here in a band that sets up. So like there's a heavier amount here, kind of diminishes, and then moisture comes in from the south and kind of intensifies a band here across just southeast of Oklahoma City from Chickasha to Henrietta and the Muskogee and off towards the east. So I'm not buying it yet. Temperatures are kind of questionable if it goes to all snow, and we'll have to wait and see what the evening runs and the evening data comes in. That'll generally come in here in about 2 hours. So I'll have another update, another Facebook Live here about 9 o'clock here this evening with all the graphics, and we'll talk about how, if anything's changed and what's happening in northwest Oklahoma. So again, no 5:30 show, obviously, since it's 5:35. I'll have another Facebook update at 9. I'll post a couple of graphics throughout the evening, and our main show, our News 9 at 10, is pushed back to at least 10:30 because of football. in case you're wondering. So we won't be on until 10:30. So I'll look over and I'll try to answer some of your questions if I didn't get to it here on this video. But thanks for all the likes, the shares, the comments, and hey, it's going to snow tomorrow morning. I'm kind of excited. I'm not gonna lie. We've been on a snow drought here the last 3 years, and I have a little boy that's almost 18 months, and I hope to take him out in the backyard tomorrow so he can really get his first taste of snow. So I'm a excited dad. I'll say that. And also, hopefully those roads stay wet. That's the perfect kind of snow. Everything's white except the roads. It remains just wet. So hopefully, fingers crossed on that. All right, guys.